Inventions of war can change their way. We imagine our lives will be. The March family are on their way. Meg, Joe, Beth, and Amy.
Marmee knew she was the best medicine for Father, but as she sat by his side, she was thinking of her children and hoping her letter would reach us soon.
Are you ready? Here's what it says. Dear Meg, your father's better. I've been at his side every minute, day and night. His fever's gone down, and I'm certain that all your prayers helped make Father better, and I'm grateful for them. The doctors are cautiously optimistic and think he's on the road to recovery.
Great.
Despite the fact that Father is still weak, he always manages to smile when I talk about you, my dears. Aww.
Does your mother mention me in that letter?
Let's just see.
My best to Hannah.
The letter was addressed to Meg, but everyone grabbed pages to read for themselves. Marmee's sweet handwriting brought her close, for we all missed her terribly.
You know, Meg, I think I should write Marmee a letter.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good idea, Joe.
You could tell her all about the Hummel children.
That's kind of boring.
I suppose you have an idea for a more exciting subject?
What about my incredible artwork?
You mean that pile of orange glop?
What?
It just came to me. I've got a perfect idea for pleasing Marmee. We each write letters reporting our own activities. You know what? Those letters will help Father recover more quickly. So we must think of amusing things to say in them and be sure to be imaginative but truthful.
Huh?
That shouldn't be difficult, Amy. In fact, I find your artwork most enjoyable, and it just might be the perfect medicine for cheering up Father. You and Beth might work on it together. What do you think?
Mm-hmm. We all immediately set about the task of writing, for it was getting late and we wanted to post our letters in the morning. We imagined how happy they would make Father, but I found it difficult to explain my artwork, and I wanted my letter to be the best. Hey, Beth!
What is it, Amy?
I need some help with my letter.
Oh, what's wrong?
I'm having trouble with descriptions.
Read me what you've got.
I've been molding pieces of mud to make a pig sculpture, which I hope to give you as a present when you return. I'm particularly pleased about the pig's tail, which is made from old pieces of straw off my bonnet, which I'm not wearing anymore. Does that make sense?
I'm not sure you should mention that part about the bonnet. Say you're combining different elements.
Combining elements?
Yes, you're combining mud and straw to create a realistic art form.
Well, maybe.
You'll be able to use a very impressive word. The word is amalgamation.
That word sure makes my pig sound special, whatever it means. Beth showed me how to spell it.
Here,
Thanks very much, Beth.
Mr. Lawrence taught it to me.
Great. Now,
I hope that's right. A-M-A-L-G-A-M-A-T-I-O-N.
huh? Well, my goodness, I sure hope you've spelled amalgamation correctly because I've already put it in my letter. Amalgamation is the process used to make my pig. It's unusual. I might be the first person in history to turn mud and straw into a pig. Should I say I'm still wearing my bonnet?
I'm not so sure they'll believe you.
Most of my bonnet's all right. I just need to cover up some holes.
You're not making little mud pigs as ornaments to fill up the holes.
It seems to me it's a perfect way to show off my amalgamation and prove that I'm really talented.
What?
It could become the big fashion.
Amy, you're joking.
No, I'm not. I think I could become very famous with original bonnet creations. I can just see it now. Bonnets by Amy, a true original amalgamation of her own unique design. Yep, let me see. I'll need to get some money from Marmee to start my business. This will really delight Father. I was so busy working on my letter that I didn't notice how late it was getting. Milky Ann decided it was past her bedtime. Meg and Joe stayed up late working on their own letters. Beth got very quiet and tiptoed off to bed, shaking her head about something. I felt certain that my letter would be the most creative one of all.
Good morning, Hannah. You're up bright and early.
Well, somebody had to get up and get breakfast.
I'm sorry. I was up most of the night writing my letter.
Mm-hmm. Be sure and bring it with you.
Yep.
Everyone else is already at the table.
Good morning. Everybody get their letters written last night, I hope?
I did, Joe.
Mine's in my pocket.
May I have it then, please? I am very proud of you.
I am too.
Hope you can find it in those deep pockets.
Here it is.
I guess Beth helped you a lot. Were you able to prepare your own?
Yes, my letter's finished.
Good work, Beth.
Thanks.
Well, I guess that leaves only me.
Apparently. Now all that remains to be done is for me to mail them.
You should make sure there's no mistakes before you send them.
I know Marmee won't care about that.
Are you sure you don't want to read them first, Joe?
No, it's more important to get them right in the mail. I'm sure Marmee will be thrilled.
But I'm sure it'll be better if you take time to read them.
Well, I'm planning to eat my breakfast now because I'm really hungry. Perhaps you have some reason for me to read them.
Well, there might just be something brilliant in one of them. Aren't you curious, Joe?
Amy.
Now what's up? Sounds like some kind of secret. It better be good because I'm short of patience and my breakfast is getting cold.
Of course it's good. Read it.
I'm not sure that's such a good idea, Amy. Joe's hungry.
No problem. Now I'm interested.
Ideas sometimes are better kept a mystery, Joe.
Why's that?
Well, sometimes a notion as wonderful as it is to the creator might be ahead of its time. And other people may not find it as clever as the person who came up with it.
Mm-hmm.
When you put it together, you see flaws you can't always see on paper.
You must take a long look in order to spot any problems you might have. That's my opinion.
Ha!
Ah, Marmee might just be the best judge of this. We'd better let her and Father decide.
Ah.
Joe finally got a bite of a very cold breakfast and then rushed out to post our letters. I went to work on my mud pig designer bonnet to prove to Beth there was no flaw in it. But Beth was right, because during the next rain, I got a mud pig in the eye.
Good morning, Mr. Brockett. I'd like to mail this, please.
It's heavy. Weighs almost 10 ounces. That will be 6 cents.
I don't think I have that much.
Miss Margaret March, you ought to get your sister to pay for this.
Here, I'll bring the rest tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, hello.
Hello, Anthony.
Mr. Brockett, I'd like to send this out.
Okay. Let me just check the weight. That will be 14 cents.
And I'm going to pay what Miss Jo owes. This should cover both of them. Huh? Here. Hey, Joe, wait a minute. What's the hurry? Where are you going? Are you angry with me? Did I do something wrong?
You are being most arrogant. I am able to pay my own bills on my own without charity from you.
But I was just trying to help.
Joe realized she had misjudged Anthony and apologized. He cheerfully accepted.
It occurs to me we haven't seen much of you around the newspaper office lately. Are you writing something?
Yes, I am.
Well, I'm pleased because you have ability, though I missed seeing it at first.
I remember. I'm sure cub reporters have strong opinions about other people's work, right?
I'm quite certain that I'm fair in my evaluations.
Sure. There's probably a pile of work waiting for your rejection now.
Wait a minute, Joe, hold up. You can't still be angry with me after all this time. I did get one of your stories printed in the paper. I mean, what more do you want?
I might like more of my work to become known to your subscribers.
All right. Just submit it to me.
Of course, I'm aware that doesn't actually mean I'll see my work in print.
I'm saying I'm willing to do it.
I almost believe you would.
Hey, what do you mean, almost? Are you implying I'm a liar?
You may take that any way you like, but all the reporters I know are more interested in their own news stories.
But I'm not.
Oh, yes, you are.
I am totally speechless. I don't know what to say.
It's about time. Well, I've been blunt. I must be going.
But, Joe, listen.
Upset? Maybe now you'll be more polite. I've been pulling your leg just to get even with you for being so critical of my writing. It must have worked.
I'm astonished. I've been bamboozled by a little 15-year-old girl. By Jupiter, how could this have happened to me?
Don't ask me that.
Anthony wisely decided not to pursue this conversation any further. He and Joe walked in silence for a while, but soon Joe was chatting away, for she was in a jolly mood. Anthony quickly gathered his wits and recovered splendidly.
Do you mean you're not wondering why I was at the post office?
I presume you were mailing something. You did have a package in your hand.
A very bulky one. I was mailing some of my stories to a newspaper office in New York.
I'm impressed. I assume a publisher there has taken an interest in your work.
Mm-hmm. I'm hoping they'll be excited by my brand of reporting. I'm ready to move to a big city newspaper where the stories are more exciting.
I hope it all comes to pass.
I'm confident it will happen.
Yours faithfully, John Brooke. Yes?
Johnson said you wanted to see me, Grandfather.
I'm finished. I thought the March girls might like to read this letter. I believe they'd be interested since John mentions their folks. You're probably eager to pay them a visit, and I'm sure this would be a perfect excuse for it.
My pleasure.
Lori was sure the letter would delight us, especially Joe, but Beth put a damper on his enthusiasm.
We received a letter from John, too.
Huh? You mean he posted identical letters to both households?
I guess he must have.
He didn't mention that to us.
He was probably in a hurry to mail both letters and just forgot to tell you about it.
That's possible.
Laurie returned home and explained to his grandfather why it wasn't necessary to send John Brooks' letter over to the Marches.
He must have been preoccupied, don't you think?
Yes, probably why he used his middle name.
Mm-hmm. Probably he meant to put his full name on it. I wonder what Meg thinks about the name John Carl Brooke.
She seems smitten. Better be careful because the old love bug is flying around.
Huh?
Mr. Lawrence was certainly right about that love bug.
I'm looking forward to being home again.
And I'm missing someone special.
It gets personal. I'm going to skip this part. It's boring, so I'm going to go past it and pick up with the information everybody's been waiting for. It's mild and breezy here, which is quite unexpected at this time.
I'd much prefer hearing the personal part.
More wounded men appear every day as evidence the war is continuing. I wish this were a part that could be skipped. It's painful. So your mother and I have been helping to care for these men.
What about Father?
Yeah.
He's making progress in his recovery, John says.
So Marmee is being nursed to these other men and Father all at the same time?
Yes. The hospital staff needed extra help.
Oh, I'm so impressed. Marmee and John are doing their very best to help the war effort. That makes me very proud, and I'm sure Father feels the same about it.
I wish we could help. Can you think of anything we could do for Marmee and John, Meg?
It seems to me the best thing is to keep writing letters to cheer them up.
Miss Jo, are you in the middle of anything important?
I'm not busy. Come on in. Good morning. What is it?
Did I disturb you?
Not at all.
I've been thinking, Miss Jo, I'd like to write a letter.
To Marmee?
Well, yes, ma'am. Everybody else has been writing Miss March except me.
Mm-hmm. I can help you. Just tell me what you'd like to say to her.
I never wrote a letter before, and I was hoping you might be able to come up with something.
It's important you choose your own subject.
Yes, but I'm not sure. Maybe I could talk about my cooking.
That'd be fine.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
We can do it now. Let me just get a fresh piece of paper and find my pen. You can begin.
Dear Madam of the Home and Garden.
Huh? Whom do you mean, Madam of the Home and Garden?
Why, Miss March.
Then why don't you just start off with, My dear Mrs. March? A letter must sound like the person is present and you're speaking naturally to them like they were in the room.
My dear Mrs. March. Then what?
Let me think. You could just say that things are going smoothly.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I might be able to say that. Of course, I want to make sure I'm telling the truth.
Of course, but you would be telling the truth.
Well, Miss Jo, I'm not pleased about everything.
What's bothering you, Hannah?
I'm plenty tired of picking up dirty clothes. Might as well admit it. That bothers me some.
But you mustn't tell Marmee.
Why not?
It might upset her. It would be better to talk about your excellent meals.
Well, all right. What dish should I describe?
Apple pie.
My pie is the best in Massachusetts.
Huh? Maybe you should be more modest.
Well, I'm just trying to tell the absolute truth, Miss Jo, like you suggested.
I can't argue with that. I'll put in how much we love it.
Massachusetts' best apple pie has these ingredients: nutmeg, cinnamon, apples mixed with my special flavoring, and a tablespoon of orange rind. That makes the mouth-watering taste.
Wait a minute, slow up. My pen needs ink. All this mouth-watering taste might make Marmee hungry. Have you got anything less appetizing?
A mustard plaster recipe? It's pretty handy. In fact, tell her I'm going to use it on you girls this winter to ward off any chills.
How come? Are you expecting a very bad winter?
Mm-hmm. That terrible heat and putrid smell is awful good medicine. I'm convinced it's good for preventing all kinds of different ailments. Well, maybe I'm just old-fashioned, but that's how I feel.
Ugh.
Might be as good as my home cooking.
What? I hope we never have to eat one.
I've about run out of gab.
Then let's just sign it.
Mm-hmm.
Your humble, Hannah, true and always faithful friend.
Yes, Mrs. March, I am indeed your humble servant, and I'm ever so faithful. I'm wearing myself to the bone picking up after your girls.
Huh? What am I doing? I put down everything you said.
John promised to write again soon, and Laurie hoped the next letter would be for him.
Johnson, is there a letter from John?
Yes, sir.
May I see to whom it's addressed?
Of course.
I hope it's for me.
Here you are.
It's not for me. He wrote it personally to Grandfather.
I can't believe we got another letter this quickly from John. I hope nothing's wrong. Let me see what he says. My dear Mr. Lawrence, Miss Margaret March personally.
Well, that sounds like a letter from a secret admirer.
Don't joke. It's from John sent to me personally, only the letter is all about Mr. Lawrence's business affairs in Washington.
I'm not sure I understand.
There's been a dreadful mix-up of some kind. The envelope is addressed to me, but the letter isn't.
I'm getting it now. John must have made a mistake. He must have sent Mr. Lawrence a letter that you were supposed to have read, I'll bet.
This is terribly embarrassing. What can I do?
Well, maybe he hasn't seen it yet, and Lori and I can still exchange them.
Oh, mercy. This is awful.
Joe wasted no time in bustling off to see Lori. She was glad that Mr. Lawrence's carriage wasn't there.
Regarding your shipping losses, I have met with Edwin Stanton personally. Gosh, Edwin Stanton. Why, he's Secretary of War in Lincoln's cabinet.
Why did John want to meet with him?
My grandfather must have set up the meeting because he was having shipping problems. Grandfather must have gotten Meg's letter.
I hope he can cope with the intimacies of a courting couple. It's probably what he'll find in his letter.
Stop that right now, Joe. I'm serious. My grandfather might not think that's so funny. Especially if this letter contains confidential war information about the raids on my grandfather's ships.
Okay, then, he mustn't find out it's been seen. But we have to first get his letter and find out if it's for Meg.
Lori thought about it for a moment and realized Joe was right. At her urging, he quickly went to Mr. Lawrence's study to get the other letter. He knew his grandfather was due home any minute and was relieved to see the mail had been placed on his desk as usual.
I found it. Uh-oh.
Thanks. Theodore? Ah, there you are, my boy. You were so quiet, I didn't know you were home.
Yes, I've been studying.
That's good. Don would be pleased.
I hope Lori got to that letter before Mr. Lawrence did. Huh?
Here I am.
Where's the letter? Were you able to get it? Good.
But I'm not sure if it's really for Meg. How are we going to be able to determine that?
Can't you make out Meg's name? Or at least peek at some of the words?
I can't read them. The paper is too thick, plus the writing on the envelope is covering everything up.
We're going to have to steam it open. That's the only solution to our problem.
Maybe I can see a couple of words.
Lori, you've got to steam it right now.
The mailing glue seems pretty thick. I hope the steam opens it up all right.
Well, be careful with it.
My grandfather's downstairs. I hope he doesn't catch me.
Lori tiptoed down the stairs, dreading that he would run into his grandfather or Johnson. He rushed to the steaming kettle in the kitchen, and not a moment too soon. Mr. Lawrence came out of his study looking for the letter which Johnson had told him was in the day's mail. Joe, of course, was on pins and needles waiting for Lori to return to his room.
Come in.
Joe, what are you doing here?
I'm so happy to see you again.
Where's Theodore? Isn't he studying?
Oh, he must be taking a little break.
Oh, I didn't know you two studied together.
Oh, yes.
Don't let me disturb you. Oh, I almost forgot. Have you seen a letter from John Brooke to me? Johnson said it came in the mail today, but I can't find it anywhere in the house.
I'm sure it will turn up before long.
You're a bright girl, Joe. Have you any idea where I might look?
What a mystery. Mercy me.
Yes.
Joe felt a little sheepish when Mr. Lawrence left, but she knew they were doing the right thing. Mr. Lawrence went back to his study as a very pleased Lori emerged from the kitchen admiring his perfect steaming job. Together, he and Joe would discover what the envelope contained, and Joe could hardly wait.
My dearest Margaret, I miss you so. It's a mix-up. This letter's for Meg.
We'd better exchange them immediately. Now all I have to do is get the glue and seal this flap. Should be easy, if the paste is where it belongs in my desk. Got it. You see, if I spread it on thin like this, no one can ever tell the envelope has ever been opened. Huh? Oh my word. How did that happen? I thought I was being so careful putting it on, but some of the paste leaked through one of the seams.
Now don't panic. Maybe your grandfather won't even notice.
My grandfather's sharp and he's bound to notice the extra paste. Maybe I can manage to be the one who opens it.
That's it. Tell him you're just trying to be helpful.
You think that'll work?
Well, sure.
Well, I'm game. I'll try anything.
Joe felt she had done all she could, and now the rest was up to Lori.
I'm counting on you, and I'll be expecting to hear a successful report very first thing tomorrow morning.
Tomorrow, I expect you to call me Mr. Marvelous.
Bye, Mr. Marvelous. I'll be talking to you tomorrow morning.
Right. Bye, Joe. Huh?
Come with me, Mr. Laurie. Your grandfather sent me to fetch you. He wants to talk to you about something.
I doubt that Gloria is doing that much studying with Joe. Come in.
Excuse me, sir. Did you want to see me?
I found some interesting books for you. I think these might be something you would enjoy reading while John is away in Washington.
Oh.
The Boston Tea Party. I remember reading this when I was your age.
Uh-huh. That's very interesting. The good old Boston Tea Party. Yes, sir. That certainly sounds like the kind of book I would just like to sit down and read.
Oh, I almost forgot. I guess Joe told you I'm missing a letter.
I believe she did.
Well, I've looked high and low for it, and it hasn't turned up. I was wondering if you might have seen it by any chance.
Yes, I think I did. Oh, maybe this could be it. I wonder how it got there. Yes, I see the envelope. Under your chair.
Well, what the devil is it doing there? I guess I'm getting senile.
Not possible. You're as smart as they come.
Thank you, my boy. Let me have it.
I'm going to open it for you first, Grandfather. The letter opener's right here.
You're very helpful. Thank you.
Mr. Lawrence finally began John's letter. To Laurie's relief, the exchange had been completed so smoothly that it went unnoticed by his grandfather. Meg never mentioned her letter, which was very personal. Soon Marmee sent us another letter that we all share.
Every day your father grows stronger, and I'm sure your letters have a lot to do with it. He likes me to read them often. And he's particularly intrigued with Amy's letter. Although by now he thinks she may have discovered the fact that her bonnet design is not weatherproof.
Huh?
Well, my dears, I must close. As I'm sure John wrote in his letter, all the men need a lot of care, and I hope I'm able to be of some help. I know I can depend on you to make Hannah's job easier. You make each day bright with the love you give one another, and you bring us sunshine and smiles with each letter you write. I trust you to God's keeping. With all our love, Mother and Father.
Fortunes of war